All right, back for another video. So today's video, we're talking about insulin. Sort of a controversial topic. That's why I want to talk about it. And I also just want to say first off that I'm not telling anybody to use insulin. I'm not saying that you should use it. I'm just talking about my experience with it and some of the thoughts I have on it since I last used it. So last time I used insulin was 3 or 4 years ago, maybe more. Is when I was kind of just 2 or 3 years into bodybuilding. And I had this coach that recommended it to me because I was trying to put size on, and of course I wanted it as fast as I could. I wanted to get huge and all that shit. And I was under the impression that insulin was going to do it for me. So the first way I used insulin, I used a type of insulin called Humalog, which is a fast-acting insulin. So essentially, you take this insulin. I started at a dose of 10 IUs. I later went up to a dose of 20 IUs. But essentially, you take this type of insulin. It spikes at 15 minutes. And then it spikes again an hour later. So essentially with this insulin, per 1 IU you take, you need like roughly 10 grams of carbs. That's like a baseline idea of what you need to take in to kind of counteract the insulin, right? So if you take 10 IUs, you need 100 grams of carbs. So the first way I used it was pre-workout. Just what my coach recommended. So I tried it out. So basically what I would do is I'd eat my pre-workout meal. I'd go to the gym. Right before I walked in the gym, I would take the 10 IUs of insulin. So it's a subcutaneous injection right into your stomach. So then that 15-minute mark, I would just start drinking 100 grams of carbs. But I would try to get it in about 10 or 15 minutes because as the insulin releases in your body, your blood sugar gets lower and lower. So you need the carbs to kind of keep you from going hypoglycemic, which you get like shaky and sweaty. It's it's like low blood sugar, right? It's a pretty shitty feeling. So what I found from doing this was that I got this like really full feeling because like that insulin works. Like it, obviously, right? It's like pharmaceutical grade, so it is what it is. When you're taking those fast acting carbs in, so it's just like liquid carb powder or whatever. You can use orange juice. Some people just use sugar, dextrose, whatever. But I was just using like Carbolin, I think. And yeah, you get really full. The pumps are crazy during the workout. But the thing about it is you're on the clock then, right? Because remember what I said, it spikes at 15 minutes and then it spikes at an hour. So you only have 45 minutes to an hour to get your workout done because when that second spike hits, same thing happens. You start feeling your blood sugar drop and like you need those carbs to keep yourself from going hypo. So you have no time for like being in the gym, shooting the shit and talking to people unless you want to get nothing out of it. Like you're trying to blast through your workout. And don't forget, you have all that extra glycogen stored as energy, not only your pre-workout meal, but that carb shake you had. So you want to use it, obviously. Get the biggest pump as you can. So I remember those workouts. Like I would move through those workouts really fast. Like literally maybe like 30-second rest because I knew what I was doing. And that's one thing I had going for me is that I trained my ass off and I trained hard. And I kept my intensity up, like just keeping short rest times. And the insulin definitely helped with that. But I didn't like being on the clock. Like I'm kind of an anxious person anyway. And that obviously didn't help. Like knowing that, okay, I got to get this done and I got to get the next shake in. And for me, I was really insulin sensitive anyway, which is one reason why I probably didn't really need to use it. So I would be like in this rush to get home because sometimes I would get home and like right before my post-workout meal, I would start feeling hypo again. So I was almost even getting a third spike, but it wasn't really a third spike from the insulin. It was just because my body was so insulin sensitive anyway. I was just running through those carbs. And those Carbolin shakes are just like, it's like the fastest form of carbs you can get besides like dextrose. And so yeah, your body runs through it pretty quick. Well, mine did anyway. So eventually I just got sick of dealing with that. So I wanted to try post-workout, and that was like another way that a lot of people used it. So I stuck with the Humalog. There's other types of insulin, like longer like esters and stuff like that, I guess, that spike at different times throughout the day. But like I did not want to mess around with that. At least with the short-acting insulin, I knew I could time everything like way more precisely. So post-workout, that's when I tried 20 IUs because I didn't have to worry so much about being at the gym and going hypo and stuff like that because I would finish my workout, I would take the insulin right away, and then on the way home from the gym, I would drink a carb shake. So if I was taking the 20 IUs, I would really just have like 100 grams of carbs until I got home. So I was going to have my post-workout meal as soon as I got home. But that called for 200 grams of carbs that I needed. So that was a big ass post-workout meal when I was doing that. A lot of times back then I was young, so I was like picking up McDonald's and having to like cheat meal or like Wendy's or something like that, which definitely isn't the best way to go about it. When you're using insulin, you want to stick to like high protein, high carbs, low fat, because the fat will make you fat, in my experience. So because that's ended up what happened. That's kind of what happened to me, because you got to remember, so I'm eating 5 or 6 meals anyway, and because I'm taking all this insulin, I need to have 400 extra grams of carbs from carb shakes. So that's like a huge calorie surplus. Like I was in a calorie surplus just for my meals. You throw an extra 1,200 calories on top of that, like you're going to get some body fat, right? And that's why I think people think that using insulin is going to get you huge, because it does get you huge, but you can only gain muscle so fast no matter what you're using. Like you can be using like steroids, GH, insulin, you're still only going to grow so fast. Obviously those things help because you recover faster from your workouts and all that, but still, like you're not going to grow superhumanly fast. Like it's just, everyone's going to be on their own time. Depends on your genetics heavily too. There's people that could use all that shit and not grow at all just because they're not really meant to do it. So I think that's what happens with a lot of people, this stuff. They use it, they're eating all these carbs, and don't forget guys, carbohydrates. So hydrate, water. Where there's carbs, there's water. The more carbs you take, and trust me, I know this right now, I'm eating 1,000 grams of carbs a day and I'm 330 pounds. A lot of it is water because of all the carbs I'm eating, right? And that's what would happen to those guys. And insulin kind of even bloats you up even more, just taking the insulin itself. So you combine that with all the carbs you're taking in, you get this big, huge, watery, bloated look. Yes, your pumps are crazy in the gym, but basically what happened to me was that next prep I did after that off season where I was using the insulin, I had to lose like 65 pounds or something. It was terrible. And I was younger at the time too, so my body didn't have that like dense muscle on it, like not the type of muscle that sticks. So I ended up burning like a lot of upper body muscle just because I had to lose so much body fat. And yeah, it didn't end super well for me. So one more thing I want to mention about the insulin is that, people say like it's the most dangerous drug and this and that because you can take it and you go hypo. And yeah, that's true if like you go about it like in a really stupid way. So if you are someone who's considering using that to put on size, like just do all your research, learn everything about the type of insulin that you're going to use, and start with a super low dose. Like make sure you know how your body's going to respond to it, how much carbs you need per IU, not what your buddy says or some guy at the gym. Like figure out what you need for you, and then start with a low dose and work your way up. And don't go overboard with it because, like I said, you might think you're gaining weight and all this, but a lot of times it's just going to be like water and just from all the extra carbohydrates you're going to have to eat if you take it, right? So yeah, I didn't want to get into the science of insulin and all that shit because you can find that anywhere. This whole YouTube channel is just about me talking about my experience with stuff and just putting it out there for people because I get all these questions anyways all the time. That's why I'm putting this information out so it can all just be here. It can stay on this website. If someone asks me a question, I can just direct them to the YouTube. I can direct them to the YouTube, and there it is. So, I hope you guys liked it. If you did, like and subscribe. Stay tuned to the channel. There's gonna be a lot more videos like this, just talking about like the real shit and real bodybuilding and what actually goes on in the sport. So, that's it. Big Mo's out.